hope that bubble action got picked up on the mic. Good morning, everyone.
Good evening in some places of the world. I am FullMetalChicken, also known as... And that means the sounds of the chimes have now, met in the darkness of your mind.
Okay. And I'm Steph, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Controllers and Couches.
Yes.
So, yeah, how you been?
It's been a long week. I went outside.
You went outside?
Gardening. I put some things in pot plants. I think something's already died.
Devastated.
I'll check it later. I need to buy more parsley for micro-herbs. We made spaghetti with micro-herbs. Micro-herbs.
You know that parsley is not a micro-herb?
No, it's not. It's just a herb.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I also put spices in as well.
Don't be a white person, list your spices.
Well, it was in a pack of, mixed herbs and spices. So it's probably...
We also put in a ton of rosemary from the backyard, a ton of sage, and a ton of basil.
Yep. We got thyme.
Yeah, thyme, that's the other one.
And no, I didn't drop my watch, because we would have had lots of time.
You must have a lot of time on your hands.
Well, a broken clock is right twice a day, Yeah. So, yeah, apart from that, what did I read? An obituary.
Brutal.
Yeah. And then I realised it was just the ingredients on the back of Cocoa Pops. Close enough. What was it? I looked at... we started watching Parasite.
We're halfway. We're 3/4.
Great movie.
I found out about it because of the woman, the myth, the legend, Stephanie Sue. And she covered it in a mukbang, I want to say like a month and a half ago. And then I spoke to one of my friends about it. And then I told you about it, obviously. And we said, we're going to have to watch it. We're going to have to watch it. And then put it off until it won the Oscars. And then you were kind of like, yes, we need to watch it. So we went out and got it. And I think we're about halfway through. We're not going to spoil it for anyone.
It's great.
It's a psychological thriller. But look, Asian thriller movies are a different level.
It's a different kind of filmmaking.
South Korean cinema is very family driven, which I'm sure you can attest to now. So we're in the thick of it.
And I remember reading when this came out at the cinema, and then moved into the awards category. When they got up and accepted the Oscar, people were tweeting some really nasty stuff, and you kind of go, their primary language is Korean.
Are you talking about the interviewer on the red carpet who was like, what inspired you to was it film it in not film it but make the script in Korean?
Yeah.
And it's like, wow, a South Korean director filming a South Korean movie in South Korea in South Korean.
Yeah.
Unheard of. Who would have thought?
I know, right?
Oh my god.
Jeez. It's like it wasn't Jamaican.
Good on them for winning though.
Yeah, good on them. Great movie. Watch it. It's good. What else have I been doing? I spent a week installing Call of Duty.
Season 2.
That was hilarious.
Did you get Ghost? Because apparently you can get Ghost as an operative.
I don't know. I'll have to have a look. But
apparently it's with the... I could be wrong. There's something, the emails that they spam you with.
Oh, yeah, all that stuff.
There was something about Ghost. Let me look it up while you chatter.
Yeah, so I'll have a look at that. But it's funny because we fixed some lag issues, kind of.
We spent a lot of money to fix lag issues and internet dropout issues. Yeah,
so we also got... I also got a 20-metre Cat 7 cable. Now, anyone out there who is, familiar with Ethernet cabling, I've gone full retard and gone completely over the top. I mean, I could quite easily just run, 20 metres of Cat 5e around the house. But instead, I future-proofed and went for Cat 7.
Isn't Cat 7 even too good for NBN when NBN eventually rolls out?
Essentially, yeah. It's high bandwidth capable.
And it's just for the Xbox. Just for the Xbox.
It's just for... Why not? You know, it's superfluous.
Apparently you can unlock Undercover Ghost as an operator who specialises in subterfuge.
Ooh, subterfuge.
Yeah, so that came out in the email on Friday.
Oh, sweet.
So
there we go.
That's what that's about. I know I saw it somewhere. I didn't read it because it's just been a busy week at work, to be honest.
Also, I...
That's what he looks like. So he's got his ghosty face with a hoodie.
Ah.
Thing. So
Okay.
he's an operative now.
Oh, cool. There's, yeah, they're bringing out a...
He's exclusive to the Battle 2 Season Pass, which you have the whole Battle Pass, don't you?
Well, no, I think I've unlocked... Well, I had some stuff there, so I unlocked the second one.
No, but we paid for
that was
Battle
the first
Pass.
one, for Season 1.
Oh, so you have to get it for each individual thing?
Yes.
That's bullshit. How much was it?
I still had leftover credits.
No. How much was the Battle Pass to purchase?
I think the original... Like, this one was, like, 2,000 credits.
Not credits. Dollars. How much money did you have to spend electronically? Not...
Well, originally I'd spent... To get Season 1 was
the Battle Pass.
like $60 Australian.
It used to be $80. The pass, and that would give you all the DLC content for that game.
And I had leftover credits, so I just used them to...
Oh, so you fucking invested in Call of Duty points, did you?
That was the only... No, it had leftover, so you had to
You had to purchase points.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's where the money went.
That's the catch now.
Fair enough.
So, yeah.
Not like you, what you going to do about it?
Yeah, it's bullshit.
Alright.
Gaming updates?
I bought a gaming chair so I can sit here and write my thesis on.
Yeah.
And it took us, how long would you say? It was in the middle of a storm, to be honest with you, and we were at Officeworks.
Yeah.
And look, I was being very difficult, but if you're going to invest $200 in a chair,
At least make
you
it
better
comfy.
be testing them all out, right? I didn't go in there. I wanted to get literally the cheapest off the line $20 chair,
shit.
and then you weren't having a bar of it, and then so it's called the Bathurst Racer chair. The only one that's above it, I think, is the Yorkshire, whatever.
And we tried both.
I think this one's comfier.
Yeah.
Because I like the lumbar support of this one.
Yeah.
I sit like a retard, to be honest, and like an absolute idiot. But this, apparently, moderate computer usage is 3 to 5 hours. Heavy is 5 to 8. There's no chair zoned higher than 8.
Zoned higher than 8.
So, what are you going to do when literally the confocal labs, what kind of chairs are they? Where, alright, maybe
chairs.
I'm the exception to the rule where you are sitting in a dark room for 20 hours.
Yeah.
Like, what do you... Anyway. That's the biggest update, the only update I have for gaming. So.
And while you have a chair, I got a brace for my ankle.
But has it been helpful?
It has been helping, but it doesn't change the fact that my ankle is busted. So, yeah.
Book an appointment.
Yeah.
Get a referral to a surgeon.
Congratulations.
Go to a physio. I've been telling you for years.
Yeah.
Alright. Today, our BuzzFeed quiz, which you can find in the episode notes and take with us, is this one must-go quiz is incredibly difficult to answer. So the rules are simple. They're going to give us a bunch of pictures about some celebrities, and we have to choose which one we want to boot.
Oh, okay.
Alright. I don't know how difficult this is going to get, but are you ready to rumble?
Yeah.
Question 1. Which actor has to go? And we have a suite of white male, middle-aged to mature age actors. We've got the man, the myth, the legend, Tom Hanks, Brad Pitt, Leo DiCaprio, and Keanu Reeves. Which one has to go?
I think Brad Pitt has to go.
I was going to say the exact same thing. I'm not getting rid of Keanu.
41% went Keanu Reeves. Are you kidding me?
So apparently 41% said Keanu, 32 said Brad, 14 said Tom, 13 said Leo. Alright, next.
Which talk show host has to go? Wendy Williams, Ellen DeGeneres, Jimmy Fallon, DeGeneres, Or Oprah Winfrey. Wendy Williams, gone.
Can I just say...
Yeah.
Can't remember which person it was, but they're a celebrity too, and they allege that Oprah knew about Harvey Weinstein.
Really?
Yeah.
So is it Oprah will go or Wendy will go?
So look, Wendy is so bloody problematic.
Yeah, so
no
she's
disrespect to her. Look, I watch her stuff sometimes on the YouTubes because she uploads it to YouTubes, and I watch it in the background. But she's just like, she had to go at people with cleft lip.
Yeah, bullshit.
She's very...
At Joaquin Phoenix?
And if it was if it was a male talk show host, if it was Jimmy Fallon, for example, talking about women in such a derogatory way that... You know, if it was the inverse of Wendy Williams going after men, do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
So if it was Jimmy Fallon saying the exact same thing that Wendy says about women, cancel culture.
Yeah.
So we're going to have to go with Wendy. 85% agree.
And that's 347,000 votes.
Which actress has to go? Taraji P. Henson, Viola Davis, Angie Jolie, or Angela Bassett? Jolie can go.
Yep, Jolie can go.
What movies has she made besides the Disney one with her daughter recently? She's just fallen off the map.
Yeah. And then we've got which singer has to go? Beyonce, Rihanna, Taylor Swift, or Ariana Grande?
Oof. Alright, so I'm torn between Beyonce and Taylor Swift, because all of a sudden Taylor Swift's like, oh my god, now that sexual assault has impacted me in my life, I want to talk about it, but otherwise I wasn't going to talk about it.
Yeah.
Because I feel like Beyonce's done more for the world than
Taylor.
Tay-Tay. So Tay-Tay, be gone. What about you?
Yeah. Just annoying. Which athlete must go? LeBron James. Tom Brady. Tom Brady. And as you can... I mean, obviously this is an older quiz.
He's still an athlete.
Yeah. LeBron James.
Drew Brees or Serena. See you later, Tommy.
Yeah. Tommy's done. Literally.
Oh, this one's tougher.
Okay.
Which actress must go? Julia Roberts, Zoe Kravitz, Sandra Bullock, and Lupita Nyong'o. What's Zoe Kravitz been in? Let's have a look. What's she done? Well, Big Little Lies, Batman, Max...
I'm half tempted to...
Oh, she was the best friend in Divergent. Gotcha.
I'm half tempted to say Sandra Bullock just because Bird Box was a bit meh.
I was going to say Julia. She hasn't been in anything since a while. So bye, Julie. And that's someone who grew up watching Julia Roberts. My mum loves her. So
but Zoe Kravitz got 53%.
Yeah.
There you go. Which model must go? Tyra Banks, Naomi Campbell, Giselle Bündchen, or Heidi Klum?
All of them, but specifically Giselle.
Yeah.
This one's tough. Which actor must go? Will Smith, Denzel Washington, Morris Chestnut, Martin Lawrence. Sorry, Will boy. Willie's got to go.
Will's got to go?
Will's got to go.
Oh, jeez, it's... See, after watching Bad Boys, it's a case
I can't live without... Denzel Washington isn't even an option.
If it was based on movies, there's one movie that drives me mental with Denzel Washington. It's called Fallen. I'm not giving any spoilers for it.
I'm just saying Denzel Washington as an actor is a fantastic
Absolutely.
actor.
No, I'm just talking about that particular movie.
Yeah, everyone's going to have a bad egg in the bunch.
Well, okay.
Who are you going to go for?
I'm going to go for Martin Lawrence because you chose Will Smith.
No, you can pick whoever you
like.
like.
Yeah, no, I was going to... But
my answers do not impact your own.
No. Morris Chestnut. Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
He's, he played the security guard in, what do you call it? American Horror Story Murder House.
Yeah. Which comedian must go? Tiffany Haddish, Eddie Murphy, Melissa McCarthy, or Jim Carrey?
Eddie. Eddie's an ass. Eddie's got to go. His
time is done. Tiffany Haddish, apparently. Which rapper must go? Lil Wayne, Eminem, Jay-Z, Kanye West. Kanye West, because I hate the guy.
If you had asked me 5 years ago who to get rid of, I would have said Lil Wayne. Because Lil Wayne was supposed to be this, completely insane person. Just not even worth being in the rap game. And I can't stand Kanye. The only Kanye song that I will still bop to today is Stronger.
Yeah.
Gotta go. Which film series must go? Hunger Games, Twilight, Fast and Furious, Pirates. I'm going to say Fast and Furious because I wish they would have done what Pirates of the Caribbean did and just finish it while it was on top.
Well, I reckon they're going to keep bringing... Well, you think about it now. They're going to go, well, Johnny Depp didn't actually do anything, blah, 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 and then they'll recast another pirate. I bet you.
When we say blah, 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 we mean now all of a sudden everyone's going to get back on the Johnny Depp boat after they all had a go at him and cancelled his contracts. So who are you going to go for?
I'm going to go the Hunger Games because it just went to shit.
To be fair, the books are shit too.
It just...
48% said to get rid of Twilight. 167,000. Oof. Alrighty. No movie reviews, no TV show reviews. So
TV series review. I watched season 2 of Final Space.
Ooh.
I'm going to watch it again. It was really good.
Give us a rating out of 10.
9 out of 10.
Sweet.
It was just a little bit that they could have, maybe done extra, but it was good. I was discussing this with a few people at work, and we were all shocked at just how good it got. The pacing was on point.
Because I remember season 1 was...
The pacing is perfect. The action is on point. Storyline...
How many episodes are there?
That's a good question. I think it was like 13.
Oh, God. They're 20 minutes
14,
each. That's a fair go.
Yeah. So, it was very, very good.
I want to go see Invisible Man
Yeah.
this week. Comes out on Thursday. I want to go see it.
That'll be good.
So.
And I also did a rewatch of Priest with Craig Bellamy and Carl Urban.
Keith Urban?
No. So it's an older film.
Gotcha.
Vampires and stuff.
Oh, is that the one they advertise on Netflix? Yeah. Gotcha.
So,
and we've been watching Maths, bits and pieces here and there. We caught a recap earlier in the week.
Yeah, and I kind of sit there and go, the furniture doesn't go with that TV.
Alright, we've got 1, 2, 3 things we're going to talk about in some news wrap-ups. You hit us with the first one.
Once it works.
Okay.
It's not working. Come on. Working. It's not working. I'm just having some issues with...
Alright.
Is it... Okay.
It's the story you wanted to read to me today, and I said save it for the podcast. Otherwise, just read it on your phone, because you've got the link on your phone.
Yeah, it's... I don't know what's going on.
Alright, just read it on your phone.
Here it is. Okay.
Gotcha.
So, this is from Bored Panda, and it's essentially... This rat sanctuary shames the naughtiest rats of the month, and their crimes are too funny. So, the screen just...
You have to be prepared. See, it's not that easy.
It's...
You got to get your stories ready.
So, essentially, some people fear rats. Some people think they're dirty. Some people hate them. However, rats, mice are very...
cute.
Intelligent. They're cute. And they make really good companions. Very short lifespan.
Says it to the person who does that.
So... There's this place called Rachel's Retirement Home, and they take care of rats of various sizes and ages, and it's in Sunnybank Hills, Brisbane. So what they do is they specialise in caring for rats who need permanent care or new place to live. And essentially what they do is they put up photos of their rats that they have in their care and other events, and they have a weekly entry for best and worst rat of the week. And so apparently they have more than 20 plus volunteers, carers and admins, and management team of 3. So essentially the first one is they have a best and worst photo. So for number 1, there's Spoon, and they've got a rat just sitting there, like, you know, playing with his... Yeah, so cute. And then worst, Lucky. Stayed out all night, ate so many chocolate chips he couldn't even eat them anymore. He just chewed them and spat them on the bench and then faked his own death by sleeping under the couch all day, ignoring his mother's distressed crying about how her baby boy probably fell out a second-story window and got eaten by an owl. Okay, so funny stuff like that. And then it's got down the bottom, Spoon knows how to pace himself and never ever spits out a chocolate chip. Lucky idolises Spoon and is in training to be just like him. Just give him some time and all that sort of stuff. And then the second one is, for best, we have Button. She gets worst rat so often I think she deserves a freebie to say I do in fact love her.
She's got the cutest little cheeksies. She's like a chestnut brown.
She is. And then for worst, fucking Button. In 15 minutes of free roam, she chewed my shoes, the couch, pen, and a button off the remote.
That's cool, man.
Funny. So, yeah, and then it goes on to like all the other comments you can read through, and it's quite hilarious. And
there are heaps of pictures. They're like another 20 or so.
Yeah. And then there's one where they've looked after about, 300 rats the first year, over 700 in the second year. And the second one's even funnier because 3 years old, Ellie, a tumour and hind leg degeneration, and she still gets up to use the litter tray every time. And then worst, Spencer sleeps in the litter tray and gets up to shit on the floor. Yes.
You know what? I hear that rats are so cuddly.
They are super cuddly.
They take a few months of to really get to know you. Then after they do, they screech apparently, and they bite you if you leave them. Yeah, they bite and stuff. And I can't I always used to say to you, I want to get a rat. I want to get a rat. Yeah. And then this drongo, me, decides to work in an animal house where I can't technically by law have mice, rats, or guinea pigs, because if I come home or go to work smelling like them, and pathogens as well. And it's just it's devastating. But they're so cute. Yeah, and like there's heaps of them, and there's another funny one where it's worst, Muffin pushed Maurice out of the cage like he was Scar killing Mufasa. And then there's Bear, and he gets best because it's soft and warm like mashed potato, and the person is holding him and he's just all, smushy. Then there's Mary, pretended to be pregnant so their foster carer spoiled her for a month. And then you've got Dougie, for best, is the physical manifestation of love and trust. And then worst, Button constantly throws herself at me and misses because she has no depth perception. And it's like a grey and white rat. Someone doing burnouts in the street soon. Then we have worst for Maurice, just a real dickhead. And this goes on and on for like 20. We can just keep going on and on. But it's hilarious, so check it out. It's funny. Just look up, on Board Panda. I'll put the link in our show notes.
It's quite funny. But yeah, this will take up time, me just going through talking about. Very funny.
Alright, I've got 2 things I wanted to share. First thing, that bitch who her kids are missing? Yeah. They finally, almost a month after they said that she needed to come forward with her kids, they've arrested her, and she's currently on 5 million bail. No, sorry, she's not out on bail yet, but they set her bail at 5 million. She's what's her name? Laurie Vello. That's it. She displayed no emotion as her husband looked on from the gallery. He didn't answer questions as he rushed back to the car. They arrested her on Thursday in Princeville after a warrant was issued in Madison County, Idaho. She did not resist arrest, said the police chief. And she was taken to the Kauai Community Correction Center. Jeez. So she was supposed to show them in January, and this happened like a couple of days ago, but let's say 3-4 days. She's still hadn't come up with the kids, and they were just letting her live her life. Apparently her extradition hearing is going to be on March 2nd. So,
but you look at this photo, and it's like deceased.
So, you know how I said to you, I know some people died, and I can't remember who died and how, because I said, because you know how they got together? So, her new husband, Chad Daybell, his wife, Tammy, she was the one who had been exhumed to be tested to see if he had poisoned her.
Yeah.
Right? You know how I said her brother, Alex, had killed her son, her brother, sorry.
Yep.
Her brother Alex had killed her husband. And I told you how I listened to the audio and it sounded really sus. Yep. Apparently one of her first husband is also dead. I don't know how that came to be. But apparently her brother died shortly after killing her now deceased second husband.
Right.
So people are saying that they did that to cover up so her brother wouldn't say anything.
Jeez. That's pretty rough.
So basically, to get these two people together, she has killed two ex-husbands, or she's killed two husbands, and we don't know if she's done it, but two of her husbands have passed away under mysterious circumstances. Her brother has passed away under mysterious circumstances. Chad is being investigated, and Tammy has been exhumed to be tested to see if she was in fact poisoned, right? Jeez. So 4 people we know have died mysteriously around these people, and these 2 kids
are missing. That's, not good.
Last but not least, I can't remember what it was, but the other day you and I were sitting in the car. I think he was coming back after Office Works, and we were talking about how can you tell that there are creepy houses when you go for rent? Because what were we saying? We were driving past a house, and I think you were saying that, wouldn't you be scared to go in there? Like, that house looks creepy. Yeah,
you wouldn't. There was all like razor wire and all that.
Yeah, that's it. So basically, and we were saying, shit, is it to keep something in or is it to keep something out? Because the tips of their it's homemade.
And it's like real.
It's not razor wire. It's like actual metal,
galvanized,
and it's cut up and spiked to point inwards, as if something cannot leave.
Yeah.
Right. So, and then I said, I had that story to tell you about a woman doing inspections with her husband. Yeah. Right. Today I share with you that story.
Great.
So, it was shared on Twitter, but apparently her husband noticed something. Again, I'll put this in the link. It was really popular on Twitter a few years ago. So her husband noticed something not right about the house before she did, and they wanted to rent it. And so I'm not trying to be in any way, shape or form, but you are going to very, very quickly understand that her husband is indeed African American, and African American do not play around with the creepy. So I start with the first tweet. This is Olivia A. Cole, and at the time she was a 37-year-old author. And so let's deep dive in. First post. So I may have done the whitest thing imaginable today. I never thought I would be this white woman, but here we are. Join me for this story. My husband and I just moved to Louisville, and we hate our apartment, so we've been checking out new places to rent. Today we had a showing. We really want more space, so we've been checking out rental homes. Today we saw this cute older house, a bungalow. I was all, and there's a picture of Lauren Conrad from The Hills, like putting her, her hands under her chin, all like happy, like aww. And then she continues, it rained last night, so the outside is a little gloomy. Older house, wet stone. My husband is like, it's a little creepy. And who's that character from Futurama? What's his name? It's Fry, like narrowing his eyes and the camera zooming into him, like something is amiss here. So she continues, and I'm all, no, it's rainy, it's cute. So the agent starts giving us the tour. First thing we notice is this weird, great-looking thing. You can't scroll because it's going to spoil it.
I'm not.
I say no, my husband noticed. I was admiring the crown moulding, and he was like, what is this? Points. Agent, that's just the return vent for the AC. Me, okay. Husband, why does it look like the bars to a dungeon? Agent, and then it's a picture of Miley Cyrus way back in the We Can't Stop days when she's on Jimmy Fallon and she's like looking left, right, like So she continues. We move along in the tour. We check out the kitchen. It's tiny and I cook a lot. So I was even like, My husband notices something. What are these scratches on the window? Agent, I think it's tough to open, so probably a little wear and tear. Me, okay. Him. And it's a picture of a kid at a game looking real sus, like, something ain't adding up here. We check out the upstairs. Perfect room for a nursery. Master bedroom is smallish, but big, nice closet. Me right now, and I think that's Brittany from Clueless.
Yeah.
What's her name? I can't remember anymore. But she was like, she dated us in Ashton Kutcher, but she passed away from mold poisoning. But you
Brittany,
know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know the one.
And she's like, oh, and she's looking left and right and feels real happy. Husband, inspecting closet. What is this little door inside the closet? Agent, what little door? Oh, I didn't notice that. And it's a picture of Dr. House from House going like, like something wrong here. Husband opens the door. It's a tiny dark room. Husband looks at me, whispers, it looks like that shit from Get Out, Olivia. Me by now. And it's a picture of Christian Bale, kind of like, Agent, let's check out the basement next, shall we? Me, okay. Husband, we go to the basement. It's very clean and not super dark. Lots of shelving, couple of chairs, and a door in the very back. It has 3 padlocks and a sliding lock. Husband immediately, what does that door go to? Agent quickly, I think it goes anywhere. We don't have a key. Me, okay. Him, nope. Agent, I think it goes to the backyard. Husband, why is it locked with 10 locks? Agent, Agent, let's check out the backyard, shall we? Me, okay. Husband, Lord Jesus. We go to the backyard. It's so cute. Rose bushes, hostas and shit. Fire pit. Me forgetting the door locked to keep the devil out, and it's Fran from the nanny named Fran going, ah. Also, when you look at that, tell me you don't see my mother.
Yeah.
Anyway. There's a ladderless work thingy that hides the underside of the house. I see a door. Me? See? There's a door. It just goes to the backyard. Husband, you realise the door is on the opposite side of the basement. Points at blank wall. That's where the locked door should be. Me. And it's just kind of like hitting her. Right? You have to, the gifts are a different thing. He was right. The door I was looking at had a window into the basement. The place where the devil locked door should have been was empty. Agent, we take online applications as well as paper, and she goes over the details. Husband, okay. Husband, and it's a gif of Jay-Z from one of his music videos going no, like waving his finger like no, right?
Yeah.
All gangster and shit. We get in the car, drive away down the grey, empty street. I say, so what do you think? Husband has got his finger over his chin like Kanye West. Blinking as if, do I really need to answer that question? Olivia continues, all of us have seen the movie where the white woman is making dumb-ass decisions and ignoring every sign of the devil's handiwork. Well, everyone, today I was that white woman. The devil almost got me for some goddamn rose bushes and a built-in china cabinet. I was almost signing a 12-month lease with The Conjuring because my white ass got taken in by some original hardwood floors and a porcelain tub. Considering lighting sage in case the devil saw my dumb ass swooning over a screened-in veranda and decided to follow me home. Pray for me, but importantly, pray for my husband for marrying my dumb ass, Finn. No, a white woman replied to this thread and said, well, a porcelain tub? Now I get it. See, we cannot be trusted. HGTV by Stephen King. And then someone said, this is too funny. I have one question. I'm not being sarcastic, but is your husband black? Because this suspicion game is on point. And this is coming from a black woman. And the wife goes, lol, yes, he is. The only thing that saved us. And then so she eventually gave an update. And she goes, moved into a new place today. It doesn't appear to be haunted. If I start tweeting about loving Satan soon, though, you know what happened. And then people were saying, oh my God, please tell me you didn't move into that house you and your husband inspected. She's not that house, guys. Different house. I learned, okay, this is a perfectly normal rental home with no quadruple lock mystery lock doors. And there's a picture of Amanda Seyfried when she's in Mean Girls and she's pointing to her mouse ears going, duh, on the Halloween dress-up night. So what do you think? I told you it was a ride. No.
That door, like the door though,
that means that there's a secret room.
You know, there are people out there that just put doors in like that for shits and giggles to like just mess with people.
Yeah, but dude, if you want to sell your house or rent your house, it's not the way to go about it.
Not the way to go.
Alright, I'm so sorry that took so long. But let's kind of jump into today's topic. We're continuing on with the 7 Ancient Wonders. I'm pretty sure this is the second last one, isn't it?
Yep.
Today we're talking about Colossus of Rhodes. And no, not the shiny Soviet superhero dude from Deadpool and X-Men. I like Colossus.
Yep.
Okay. I would also like to say I got my references from Encyclopedia Britannica, the History Channel, some YouTube videos, Nat Geo, and the Greek Reporter. So I can't justify how accurate the Greek Reporter is, but, you know, it's there. So, this one's going to be a little bit shorter, and I apologise for that. There was a lot less information for it, but nevertheless, let's just dive in. So, to put it into perspective with all the other ancient wonders we have covered, the Colossus of Rhodes was built 59 years after the mausoleum at Halicarnassus, 140 years after the statue of Zeus at Olympia was erected, 258 years after the Temple of Artemis was built, 308 years after the Hanging Gardens of Babylon were completed, and 2,292 years after the Great Pyramids of Giza were. Bang.
Bang.
So, sit back, breathe in, and imagine that you're sitting on the beaches of ancient Greece.
Okay, we'll do that.
If anyone knows where that reference is from, please let us know.
Yeah.
Because we would like to give you a cookie.
Yeah. Cookie!
So, it's the end of the 4th century BC. War is breaking out between two of Alexander the Great's successors, Ptolemy I, who's king of Egypt, or pharaoh of Egypt, and Macedonia's king Antigonus, or Antigonus Cyclops, because he only had one eye. Don't ask me how he lost it, but that's all I know.
Yeah.
So, the Rhodians were formidable sailors and quite skilled diplomats, so they did not want to renounce their ties with the Egyptians because they were very, very close. With good old Ptolemy. So Antigonus, who's the Maso guy here, and I can say that because I am, he tried to do his best to kind of say, no, Rhodians, come over to my side with me. They said, we don't like this, sis. Sorry, no. So he decided to use force.
Yeah. He
sends his son Demetrius to subdue Rhodes in 305 BC. And after several failed attempts to capture and sack the city, Demetrius orders the construction of the Helepolis, which means taker of cities. And apparently it was a wheeled siege tower that may have stood more than 100 feet tall. Now remember this because it's pertinent to the story.
Yep.
Apparently it was protected by metal plates. It was armed with catapults, and you love some catapults.
Yes, I love catapults.
And apparently it was a fearsome weapon. However, it failed to bring victory to the Macedonians. Rhodes still stood strong, and the Macedonians withdrew after an unsuccessful year-long siege.
We love sieges. Rainbow Six Siege.
Specifically.
Sieging!
So Rhodes and Macedonia came to an agreement that the Rhodians would back Antigonus against his enemies, all of his enemies, except Ptolemy. Right?
And just quickly back to what catapults are. If people don't know what catapults are, get a book. Medieval siege weaponry. They throw things.
Presumably boulders.
Yes.
The size of houses.
If you really enjoy catapults, please throw us a lot of likes, views, and subscriptions, because that is really what we want for siege weaponry. Thank you.
Okay, now that we've plugged siege weaponry, So the Rhodians said, you know what, we'll back you as long as you don't go after anyone but the Egyptians. And then they said, that's fine. We will allow you to remain politically and economically autonomous, right? So we're not going to try and take you over as long as you back us, except when we go against the Egyptians. And Rhodes says, that's a done good deal. Let's sign away. So in gratitude for withstanding the siege, the inhabitants decided to build an extraordinary statue in honor of Helios. And you're going to ask me why Helios specifically. So apparently in Greek mythology...
Why Helios?
So apparently in Greek mythology, he was one of the Titans, and therefore he's a god who ruled over Greece before the Olympians. Apparently he's lord of the sun, and he's known to drive his chariot across the sky each morning. Apparently the island of Rhodes was sacred to him because he was their patron deity. So they said, you know what, let's erect a statue about him. And you guessed it, where else are they going to put the statue of Colossus at Rhodes? At Rhodes. Specifically in 280 BC. So it stood as a symbol of Rhodes' victory over Macedonia. It was a show of force to the enemies, especially after the over a year-long siege at that point. And apparently the Macedonians left a ton of their weaponry and machinery abandoned. So the citizens of Rhodes decided to sell it off, use some of that money to buy the statue, and they also harvested some of the core materials from the weaponry to actually chuck into the statue to build it, for lack of a better term. So apparently Colossus was... the statue of Helios was placed at the entrance of Rhodes Harbour, much like the Statue of Liberty stands in the... What harbour is it in New York? Hudson.
Yeah.
Is it Hudson? I could be fucking completely wrong. I've never been there. Apparently, this statue is the main source of inspiration for the Statue of Liberty. So, it was built with a bright facade of bronze. It stood 110 feet tall for our American friends, or 33.53 meters for all of us who like metric stuff out there.
Yeah.
Its total
Give
cost...
us a holler if you like metric.
Oh, God. Its total cost was estimated to be 500 bronze talents, 300 iron talents, which is over 1.6 million US bucks today. So in ancient times, that's enough money to feed a village for a very long time.
That's a lot of ancient cabbage.
Yeah. And again, almost like everything else that has made this Seven Ancient Wonders list that we've spoken about before, it was obviously one of the tallest structures for the time. So the guy called Chares, it's spelled Chares, pronounced like Chares of Lindos. He was a chief architect, and it's believed that he was behind the design of many kind of sculptures of the time. So they said, you know what, you'd be really good at giving us progress sculptures to kind of shape us. You know, we can figure out on a small sculpture what we want the big sculpture to look like.
Yeah.
And get a scaling idea for our large monument. Apparently, he was actually a student of one of the sculptors who worked on the statue of Zeus, Lysippus.
Yeah.
So they kind of got him roped into it. Apparently, this guy, the builder, Chares, he was actually a former soldier, and it's believed that he was actually fighting in the war against Macedonia. However, legend says that he sadly never lived to see the project completed. Yep. Construction began in 290 BC. The internal supports of the structure were much like one would have expected for the time. There were some pillars, because the ancient world loved pillars. They used several stone pillars for support, iron beams. So immediately we're, moving into the metals here. They had a stone base and some pillars to support the external bronze plates, as well as the main structural support pillars. Apparently the bronze was melted down from the shields and weapon, like the Xyphos swords, to recycle stuff they had lying and reforged stuff they had lying around in the city. So after they ran out of the swords, they imported Cypriot copper chips, and then they'd add iron into the forge to kind of cut it down. So apparently the inside of the structure was believed to be filled with stone, but because the statue was built on the edge of the harbour, it meant that the construction access was likely viable only from one side. So a lot of researchers and archaeologists have speculated that a very large earthen-like ramp would have been constructed so that way, as the statue got taller, the ramp would be added dirt to so they could kind of get up there. Yep. But you can imagine that nearly 34 metres, that's a very big mound to have to bring in.
That's a decent mound.
And how are you going to put that on a harbour kind of entrance gate bridge? You know what I mean? That's not going to work. So then people said maybe they used wooden scaffolding. And then people said, why wouldn't they have just used the siege tower?
Yeah.
Right? That I said was pertinent to the story before. Use the siege tower, whack up some more scaffolding on there.
Yeah.
And Bob's your uncle. Or Boschko in
Boschko! Welcome to Boschko!
In the Mediterranean for that time.
Would you like a salad? Here is Boschko.
Where was I going? So 12 years later, the structure was completed, but the exact location and the stance of the statue, so how he was actually standing, are still a matter of debate. Apparently, the misconception was that he was like standing with one foot on each side of the harbour wall, holding something.
Yeah.
But that shit don't even make no fucking sense.
Do you realise that if that was like in Scotland, the statue would have a kilt, and most of the shipping accidents would be, at that pass, because everyone would be like, okay, I'm blind, crash.
Boom.
Drowning.
Crash. Sound of Michael's farts.
Yes, absolutely.
So the common misconception is that he had one foot on each side of the harbour.
Yeah.
And then he would have been built onto a wall, and then they would have narrowed the harbour itself. But then people say no, it would have been much more like the Statue of Liberty, where it stands in a promontory over a breakwater near the entrance of the harbour. So we've said that he is 34 metres tall,
yep.
Right? They're saying that 15 of those metres, so almost half of his height, is that pedestal promontory alone.
Yeah. Also, just quickly, in case some people out there are wondering what a breakwater is, it's just a barrier that's built to protect like a harbour or something from, waves. Yeah.
And apparently that promontory was made out of white marble.
Yeah, it's all coastal.
Yes. Mediterranean is very, very coastal.
Yeah, weather, longshore drift, that sort of stuff. Yeah.
And you can imagine they get a lot of earthquakes, so they would be worried about tsunamis.
Shaky, 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 shaky.
So to give the actual base of the statue some strength, the feet were made out of stone and thin moulded bronze plating was riveted into it. The ankles were made out of 8 iron bars and at a revolving horizontal angle, so kind of like there were, what's that word? Not anti-parallel. Where you know how you have a straight line? Perpendicular.
Yeah.
So they were perpendicular to each other, but joined at the centre. So the muscles of the statue were shaped out of clay that was hardened in ovens, and it was estimated to weigh between 225 tonnes or 450,000 pounds.
Yeah.
Apparently, after the statue was completed, there was a very, very, very small flaw in the construction, and that was the knees.
Ooh.
Apparently, they weren't strengthened or reinforced enough, and so they were very obviously the weakest part of the structure. And from what I could decipher, a lot of drawings and pictures show him holding a lantern, similar to the Statue of Liberty. Some show him holding like a spear in one hand and a shield, like at large in the other. Ultimately, just like a lot of the other wonders that we've spoken about, no one really knows. We're just sort of like left with text and things. So it's all hearsay, for lack of a better term. But unfortunately, the statue was destroyed in 226 BC by an earthquake, just 54 years after it was completed. According to a Greek geographer at the time, Strabo, who circa 64 and 24, in his geography, the statue snapped at the knees.
Oh shit!
And then lay forlorn and untouched because the locals believed that the great oracle of Delphi's prediction that to move it would bring misfortune on the city. So he fell, and then they didn't want to touch it because they were told that if you move the ruins, you will bring misfortune upon Rhodes. So Ptolemy III, who was Pharaoh of Egypt at the time, he said, you know what, we're some good mates. Yeah. You've stood by me. I'll finance the rebuild. But the people were like, no, you are not going to give us that money. No, we're just going to leave it as it is, because they didn't want to upset the great Helios. So Pliny the Elder, he made some observations on Colossus's awesome aspect, because apparently there were fragments. So, where was I going with this? What did he say? This statue, 56 years after it was erected, was thrown down by an earthquake. But even as it lies, it excites our wonder and admiration. Few men can clasp the thumb in their arms, and fingers are larger than most statues. Where the limbs are broken asunder, vast caverns are seen yawning in the interior. Within it, too, are to be seen large masses of rock, and by the weight of which the artist steadied it while erecting it. And that's from Natural History 34, 1841. Yeah. So historians argue that if Colossus was built with his legs straddling the harbour, the harbour would have had to have been close to 12 years to build that. Yeah. And you can kind of say it's a port city trade. That's not going to happen. No. So historians now say that to be 1 foot on each side of the port, very, very unlikely. It would have been physically impossible for him to stand at least 100 feet if his feet were 650 feet apart. Yeah. The sculpture itself would have been too heavy for the legs to support, so they say that maybe he was, if he was indeed wide-legged, the strong winds coming off the coast would have battered him too hard, and he would have just toppled over. Because apparently that region is known to have very strong winds. So a lot of people say that, look, when the earthquake struck, he broke the knees. So because of that, that's why people say his legs must have been together. Yeah. So, me no know, I say.
Support.
See, I legitimately remember growing up and thinking that this... Finding out it was just this small, no disrespect to the builders at the time, but I thought it was like 4 times larger. In my head, I thought it was Colossus, like this massive thing, 100 feet tall. Do you know what I mean? 100 meters tall, rather. Yeah. What are you going to do? So apparently the ruins were so massive that people just went to see his ruins alone, and apparently the rubble cluttered the docks for over 1,000 years. Jeez. And then in 653, when the island of Rhodes was under Arab domination by Caliph Muawiyah, he ordered the dismantling of the ruins, and his medals were sold. A merchant from the city of Edessa, which was in Upper Mesopotamia, brought the bronze wreckage of Colossus, and he wanted to melt down and reuse the metal, and it was transported using allegedly 900 camel loads. Yeah. And then, just like the Hanging Gardens of Babylon, all that was left of the statue was what was left in the people's memories. Modern day, today, apparently in 2008, government officials in Rhodes said that they were in the drawing board stage for a new Colossus, and rather than being a replica, it is intended to take shape as the planet's largest light sculpture. Jeez. They're planning to, and I can't get any solid concrete dates, but they're at least planning to rebuild the statue of Colossus, and they're going to try and make it between 120 meters and 150 meters in height, so it will be close to a $300 million project. I believe that's euros. They want it to be built at the harbour entrance by a German artist called Gert Hoff, and it'll be a Cologne-based team building it. Apparently they're going to build it out of meltdown weapons from around the world.
That'd be pretty cool.
So do with that what you will. Apparently in December of 2015, a group of European architects said that they wanted to build a modern Colossus bestriding 2 piers at the harbour entrance, even though it said that there is no way that he could have stood like that, but, just let the Europeans do what they want to do. Yep. They're saying, you know what, we're going to make him 150 metres or 490 feet tall, which is 5 times the height of the original, and they're saying, we will do it for the low price of $238 million US dollars.
Woo!
Which they say they would fund by private donation and crowdsourcing. You can actually see their promotion video on YouTube, because they want to have like a cultural centre in there, a library. So you can actually walk in the statues, what they're saying.
So similar, it'd be like their version of the Statue of Liberty.
Yes, because, well, apparently Rhodes influenced the Statue of Liberty. So
but not made by the French.
No. So they also wanted to have an exhibition hall, a lighthouse, and it to be all powered by solar panels. So as far as I can tell, no plans have been carried out. Their website is currently offline for the project. And the most recent contribution to visual culture, there was an inspiration for the giant bronze Titan statue that stands guard at the port of Bravos. In if you're a fan of Game of Thrones, I remember watching that scene with you and being like, "Oh my god, that's the statue of Colossus at Rhodes." But that is it.
Well, on the topic of big...
sorry, press pause. And I'd also like to say, in Game of Thrones, his foot is on one side of each harbour of the harbour.
Yeah.
Sorry, on the topic of Game of Thrones, before I really interrupted.
No. In the topic of like building things and taking time to build things, and on the topic of siege weaponry and specifically the trebuchet, did you know that the world's largest trebuchet was actually known as the Warwolf? And it was created in Scotland by order of King Edward I of England during the siege of Stirling Castle. And that was the Scottish Wars of Independence. Now, the cool thing about this thing is essentially in the disassembled phase, it would fill 30 wagons. Mm-hmm. It took 5 master carpenters, approximately 3 months to actually build, with 49 other labourers. And this thing was so crazy that people inside castles would literally just give up, because this thing could launch and like we're talking accurately launch rocks weighing as much as about 140 kilos and just level
I want to go on a flight to Sydney. No worries, you fat bitch. You
gone. So it's just, in the sense, you look at how sculptures can be used for functionality, size. It's always a case of how do we transport it, how do we build it, how do we maintain it, how do we use it. And I just looked at it, and the sheer size of this thing, say for instance, if this kind of weaponry was around back in that kind of era where
ancient times.
Imagine if a trebuchet was being used to bring down the Hanging Gardens, or imagine the Colossus of Rhodes copying like a cow in the back of the head or something. Now, that comment right there was purely because I used to play a lot of Stronghold, and I used to just fire cows a lot and other stuff, and it always make like you'd fire it over the wall and it'd hit the ground and be like that.
Skyrim launching a chicken. You'll be dead.
Yeah.
Townspeople
Village gone, banned. Congrats. Damn it, I want to go play Skyrim now. Yeah, so...
imagine what Skyrim's going to look like on the new Series X.
Yeah, that is going to be cool. There's going to be so much backwards compatibility. I can't even English. Compatibility. But, yeah, there's... I need to get back into building things. But what I want to see is within the next... Well, I won't see it, but... Say within the next 1,000 years, if they actually went and rebuilt the ancient wonders, do you think they ever would?
Well, we've spoken about... Right, so the pyramids are still there.
Yeah.
They always say, let's refurbish them.
Yeah.
Who else do we have after that? We've got the Hanging Gardens.
Yeah.
Didn't we say people wanted to rebuild it?
Yeah.
Then we spoke about the Temple of Artemis. And wasn't there some Danish team that wanted to rebuild it, and then you and I said, why don't they just have a laser projection?
Yeah.
And then the statue of Zeus, again, they were like, oh, we're just trying to scramble some money to do it. And they said the same thing about the mausoleum.
Yeah.
No, the mausoleum as well, right?
Yeah.
I still want to know what happened to the bodies.
Yeah.
That were in there. I mean, not to be a creep, but...
See, also too, looking at what, for instance, when we covered the Library of Alexandria.
We haven't yet, but when we do.
You know, when we're looking at stuff on it, there's some stuff coming up that we want to discuss regarding that.
Oh, is there? Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, because there's some little... some things tie in. Like that, something...
Are you talking about my 3 a.m. I haven't slept in 2 days, let me ramble?
Yeah.
Comments?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, it's just interesting. So, not to give out any hints or tidbits of information that we're doing, but, you know, there's some stuff going on there. But, I mean, going back to Artemis and everything, if you play Assassin's Creed, you will know that the Temple of Artemis looks really... like they've done a really good job recreating that in the game. And that's the thing now. Like, a lot of structures have been destroyed, but recreated in games, so you can actually get a virtual tour of it, which is fantastic.
Is it in Odyssey?
Yeah.
So, can you also see Zeus?
Yes.
The Temple of Zeus. Is he there too?
Yeah, I think from memory, yeah. And they've even got Halicarnassus in it as well.
Woo.
I think. Yeah. I've still got a lot more exploring to do. I've just spent most of my time on a ship just going around, like, you know, breaking things. Or running and hiding. Running and hiding is what I do. I'm very good at that. Running and hiding. So if only I could combine Assassin's Creed with Modern Warfare, I would be so OP. I mean, imagine firing all those chickens at the enemy. So, but it's just, you know, interesting to see how technology has advanced over the years. So, yeah.
110%. So, that's all I have for you today. I'm sorry that it was a smaller one, but there isn't that much on it. I think we can fairly say that after Statue of Zeus, it's kind of been a little bit harder to find information to talk about. So, we only have one more left for our Seven Ancient Wonder series, and that's going to be the Lighthouse at Alexandria. Yeah. So, I'm going to cover that in a couple of weeks. I'll do something else next week.
Yeah.
And then the week after we can finish off and wrap up the Seven Ancient Wonder series.
Yeah. And eventually we're going to do a discussion on siege weaponry too. Because as you can see, I keep popping siege weaponry and catapults and ballistas and, you know, all that stuff. So we're going to do a talk on that. So if you want to, like, okay, here's the thing. Someone post in the comments if you want me to discuss about medieval siege weaponry.
How did you find out about medieval siege weaponry to begin with, is what I want to know.
Knights. I'm a big fan of King Arthur.
Oh, you were there, were you?
Yeah, I was there.
When the round table was built?
Yep, I was the one that had to, you know, sweep the bottom of the lake. I had to make sure that the sword landed, you know, gently.
Oh, right. Yeah. So you didn't stab the
I was the guy who was cleaning the lake.
Oh.
And also I had to clean the dragon's litter box too.
Were you friends with the dragon?
Absolutely.
Did you roast you some chooky boos?
No chooky boos were harmed in the making of Excalibur.
You every night when you cleaned the litter box?
No, not dragon chickies. No.
Not dragon chicks, as in chickens.
Yeah, the chickens, but chickens.
Did it roast you chickens?
No, it didn't roast my chickens.
To say thanks for cleaning out.
Did you know that, like, you know, because, you know, in past eons, the movie Dragonheart was actually written about, you know.
I never heard the movie Dragonheart.
Also, you know, let's just Puff the Magic Dragon, you know.
Oh, you know, my mum bought. Remember when you could buy VHSs and it was a double pack? And they were huge, right?
Yeah.
She bought me like 3 of those about Puff the Magic Dragon. And I have no recollection of them now. I have some, like, what the screen looked like, what they look like projected onto the screen, but I have no recollection of the storyline, right? But apparently I used to watch them like it was no business. And then when it came out in the late 90s, early 2000s, that it was pot humour, Vicky Dunn smashed them to shit. Threw them out.
So it's more just, yeah, it's funny how everyone cracks that joke, but it's just, you know, it's about the hardships of growing older. That's all the
Puff the Magic Dragon.
Yeah.
I can't remember. Was there a scene where they were locked in the prison or a dungeon or something?
Yeah.
And someone had to come break them out, and that's all I remember.
But the question is it like the whole Loch Ness? Is it a song about Loch Ness?
I have no idea.
Loch Nessie!
I don't remember that. I just remember them being in a dungeon or a prison and trying to break out, and that's it. I don't even remember if that's real or if that was a fever dream.
Yeah, probably a fever dream about Puff the Magic Dragon. Puff the Magic Dragon. Plus the Sword and the Stone. So, Arthurian legend, yeah.
Do you know what kids movie I'm really excited to have kids and watch with?
Yeah.
The Thomas the Tank Engine movie.
Yeah.
The one with, I can't remember which Baldwin brother, but that movie was, I loved that movie.
But see, the bit that got me, though, about Thomas the Tank Engine, I was a big fan of Thomas the Tank Engine because it had trains, you know. But the thing is, the fat controller. Now, it's a case of he's not fat anymore. It's, you know...
Thomas the Tank Engine and the Magic Railroad.
Yeah, he's an aesthetically pleasing, you know, controller. But it's like, oh no, it's the fat controller. You know.
Shit, I can't even remember. Was that the Alec Baldwin one?
Possibly. But here's a question though: how many trebuchets would it take to throw a train, you know, into a castle?
I don't know.
Someone explain the physics.
I'm sure you're about to tell me.
Well, we can do the math. Someone out there, do the math on that, please. I want to know what is the velocity at which a trebuchet can fire a steam train, you know, over 300 yards into a curtain wall of a castle? They'd be some maths. Okay,
now I'm questioning everything because apparently on IMDb they gave Thomas on the Magic Railroad 4 out of 10, 21% on Rotten Tomatoes, and 19% on Metacritic.
Oh.
But I remember thinking that this was the best movie, and now I'm second guessing my whole existence.
Oh, well. That's bad. You know.
So, yep, that's it from us today, this week.
Yeah.
Have a fantastic Sunday night or rest of your day or whatever it is. Have a great working week, everyone.
Yeah. And if you want to go watch like a really good, you know...
Oh, gaming updates. We played a round of Pathfinder for the first time in months.
Oh, yeah. That was fun.
On Tuesday night. The food we ordered was not so dank.
No, I felt that the next day. But on the bright side, I got full plate mail.
On the bright side, lucky one of us is a Rouge and was strong enough to pull you out of the camp tent that was on fire.
But I got it. And if anyone...
You know you only got it because I healed you.
True. But I was negative. That was cool. I went negative. The DM was enjoying it because more dice...
You were an absolute idiot. And then you're like, oh no, I want to keep going. And then the fucking orc came out of the bloody thing and you're like... and you're like, oh, I want to fight it. And I'm like, I just fucking healed you. Run.
Yeah, but I got the plate mail. That was fun. But you know the irony of it though? 10%... Well...
You had 10%...
Plus 10 fire damage.
If only... It would have taken you 2 minutes to throw that armour on, at which point you would have singed to a crisp.
Crispy dwarf. So, yeah. So, on that note...
Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks for listening.
Make sure you follow your fire, plan. Install a fire extinguisher. And make sure you change the batteries annually of your smoke detectors and make sure they don't have cameras in them.
You know the place I used to live in 7-8 years ago?
Yeah.
They called me the other day to ask to make an appointment for them because they, the owners own all the 3 or 4 units on that one block. I can't even remember how many now.
Yeah.
And every year they call me asking me when I'm free to do for them to come in on that specific day to check the batteries because they do it every year.
Yeah.
To do the test. And I've gone, look, I'm so sorry. I haven't lived in that house since 2013.
Yeah.
I've told you, you've called me more years than months that I lived in that house.
Yeah.
And then it's the same woman every year. Her name's Barbara. Barbara calls me every year and I say, hi, Barbara. And then she's like, wait, you know me? And it's like, Barbara, you talk to me every year in February.
Yeah.
I do not. Please take my number off this list.
Yeah, but she doesn't. No.
Okay, so if you want to find us or the podcast, please keep in mind we have a topic request form. So if there's a specific thing you want us to cover, e.g. siege weaponry,
yes,
go in there, chuck it down.
Fancy you should mention that.
Also, give us a handle, whether it be your Twitter, your Instagram, whatever, and also your pronouns so we can refer to you in the right way. You can find us on Podbean, Spotify, Stitcher, TuneIn, YouTube. We have our own Instagram. Our Twitter is controllerscou1. We also have our email at controlsandcouches@gmail.com. If you want to find FullMetalChicken and all of his Baby Yoda meme videos, you can find him at FullMetalChicken on YouTube.
Yes, I'm there.
Okay.
Yes.
I think that's everything.
Yes.
All right.
So on that note, that'd be us signing off.
May the force be with you.
And me too, yes.
And you'll hear from us in the next one, guys.
Yes.
Bye.
Au revoir.